Hello, everyone. Today I will be presenting a study on the illusion of multitasking and its positive effects on performance. So let's start with a simple question. Have you ever felt more focused just because you thought you were multitasking? Well, this study examines whether simply believing you are multitasking can actually improve performance. So in this presentation, I will go over these topics here. And this study looks at how perceiving a task as multitasking influences performance even when the task itself never changes. We often hear that multitasking is harmful, but this paper challenges that idea and introduces the concept of illusion of multitasking, where people think they're doing multiple tasks even though they're not. The purpose of this is to show how framing affects motivation and engagement. So the theory behind it is that people tend to view multitasking it as more demanding. So when something is more demanding, we naturally put in more effort. So even if the task doesn't change, calling it multitasking might increase cognitive engagement. So this is the basis for illusion of multitasking. So the hypothesis is that when people believe they are multitasking, they become more engaged with which leads to better performance. The researcher tested this idea with 5 experiments and several replications using more than 8,000 participants. They used true experiments with random assignment. In all the studies, the task was identical for both conditions, but only the framing of single tasking and multitasking was different. They measured performance through behavioral indicators like accuracy and persistence, and psychological indicators like pupil dilation, which reflect cognitive effort. So the participants completed several types of tasks, like video transcription, lecture note-taking, puzzles and anagrams, word generation tasks, and an eye-tracking task. To measure performance, the researchers looked at words produced, errors, correct solutions, time spent on tasks, and pupil dilation. This measures allows to capture both output and engagement. So the key finding across all the experiments and replications was that they were all highly consistent. Participants who believed they were multitasking performed better. They wrote more words, made fewer mistakes, solved more problems, and persisted longer, even though the task itself remained identical. The eye tracking data revealed that the participants in the multitasking conditions had larger pupil dilations, indicating higher cognitive engagement. So the main thing is clear that the perception alone can change performance. So looking at the critiques, for internal validity, the study is strong because of the random assignment and identical tasks across groups. But the participants might guess the purpose of the study, which is a demand characteristics, and the single task group might put in less effort, which could influence results. For external validity, the large sample size and multiple replications make the findings reliable. However, the tasks were done in controlled settings, so they don't fully represent real-life multitasking, and online participants may not generalize to all populations. Even with these limitations, the results are still highly credible due to the large sample and consistent replications. A useful next step would be to test the illusions of multitasking in real digital environments, such as multitaskings on phone and computers, which could be more relatable to the generation right now. So to conclude all of this, simply believing that you're multitasking increases cognitive engagement. That higher engagement leads to better performance, not because people are better multitaskers, but because they are more motivated. Overall, the study shows that how we frame a task can meaningfully shape how we perform it. Thank you.